Tonight, the Delphi murders case is in the hands of the jurors. In just a few hours, they will resume deliberations to determine the fate of Richard Allen. Thanks for inviting us in. It's now 11 o'clock. Richard Allen, as you know, was charged with killing Abby Williams and Libby German in 2017. But did the state prove his guilt beyond a reasonable doubt? That's up to 12 people from Allen County. They heard the closing arguments today from the prosecution and the defense. We've got team coverage of these developments. Our Chase Howell talked with our legal analyst about life for the jury as they weigh a verdict. But we want to begin tonight at 11 with Emily Longnecker, who was in court today and breaks down the final messages from both sides.
Both came with powerful moments with words for the jury to consider as they contemplate whether Richard Allen is guilty or not guilty of killing Abby Williams and Libby German. The state went first, laying out its case in chronological order from the time Abby and Libby left for the Monon High Bridge, where Libby captured Bridge Guy on her cell phone, to finding the girls' bodies. Then interviewing witnesses on the trail that day, searching Richard Allen's home, testing his gun to see if it matched the bullet found at the crime scene, and listening to jailhouse confessions Allen made to his wife and mother. In his one-hour closing argument, Nick McClellan said all the pieces fit together. He played Allen's jailhouse confessions, letting jurors hear again Allen say over and over he killed Abby and Libby. The prosecutor told the jury, quote, Bridge Guy murdered Abby and Libby. Richard Allen is Bridge Guy, telling the jury Allen, quote, stole the youth and life away from Abby and Libby. He asked the jury to find Allen guilty on all 4 counts of murder. Then the defense laid out its case. Defense attorney Brad Rosie told jurors the state kept a lot of information from the jury it did not want jurors to know about because of what he said was an investigation by the state that lacked credibility. Rosie reminded the jury Allen came forward to police right after the murders, letting them know he was on the bridge that day and offering his help. Rosie said none of the witnesses on the trail and bridge the day of the murders identified Allen as Bridge Guy, also reminding jurors there is no DNA, fingerprints, or digital evidence linking Allen to the crimes. Rosie also spent a lot of time talking about how Allen's harsh treatment in prison led him to make false confessions during psychotic breakdowns, saying Allen's solitary confinement was a form of modern-day torture. Rosie then asked the jury, "Where's the moral compass?" telling them, "You are the moral compass. We are asking you to set Richard Allen free and find a verdict of not guilty." The state got the final word in a rebuttal closing, telling the jury that Abby and Libby were victims but also heroes because they provided that cell phone evidence that led police to Richard Allen. The jury will be back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. to resume deliberations. When they come to a verdict, we will bring it to you right here. In Delphi, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
Our Chase Howell continues our live team coverage tonight. He's been sitting down with our legal expert. So, Chase, did she give you any indication how long this may take the jury to find a verdict?
Yeah, Scott. So she says due to the number of witnesses and exhibits, it could be a while before we reach a verdict. The next time we'll see the jury back in this Carroll County courtroom will be to read the verdict. How soon that happens is up to those 8 women and 4 men. But it raises the question, is the old adage true that a short deliberation indicates a finding of guilt?
Our theory is usually the opposite of what you're saying, is that a fast verdict is for the defense because a jury could quickly decide not to take away someone's freedom, right? And so a longer verdict is normally for the state because they're really thinking through it. And so I think all of those things are just a bit superstitious.
Now, what does it look like when jurors deliberate? 13 News' Katie Jackson-Lindsay says oftentimes jurors will start off by taking a poll on who believes the person is guilty or not guilty.
Sometimes jurors go back there and they are unanimous at their first vote, at their first count. And they say, okay, that's enough for us. We're going to go back and give our verdict.
While that may be an ideal scenario for some, Jackson-Lindsay says it's not likely.
If you have 8 and 4, 8 not guilty, 4 guilty, it could be 8 people trying to convince those 4 to come to the not guilty side. But I've also had it where we've learned that there was that breakdown and those 4 people convinced the other 8 to come to their side. And so it really is a give and take, back and forth.
But if all the jurors can't agree on one verdict after days of deliberation, that's what's called deadlocked.
The judge will then inquire as to whether or not they think additional deliberations or additional time will allow them to reach a unanimous decision. If they say no, the judge has to use her discretion to decide if she should declare a mistrial or a hung jury.
In the case of Richard Allen, Judge Francis Gold says jurors will deliberate from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Saturday. but jurors have the option to take more time if needed. Chase Howell, 13 News.
News that the jury could reach a verdict any time drew a crowd outside the courthouse today. This case, an emotional one for people in Delphi and around central Indiana. There are these blue and purple ribbons wrapped around the city's streetlights, the girls' favorite colors, a sign of support for their families who've waited more than 7 long years for answers. Hoosiers also interested tonight in the outcome, hopefully finding justice for these 2 teen girls.
Over time, we just all in the community became invested in seeing it through to the end.
And we're also hearing tonight from Libby German's sister, Kelsey. This morning, Kelsey posted on social media echoing the sentiments of community members writing justice for Abby and Libby. Be sure to watch our Delphi Debrief show. It's on WTHR+. This is our in-depth look at this trial. Bob Siegel, Emily Longnecker, and our legal experts breaking down the major developments from the courtroom weeknights at 10. You can stream this show on demand right now. WTHR+ is our free streaming app. You can get it on Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, and Roku.